Jess.
Hey, thanks, Paul. This isn't specific to the Alex O'Connor conversation, but it's something generally that Peterson's been doing. I just listened to his talk that was just released, the one that he's doing on his book tour. But he it's the whole aim high thing. He's like, what, he always says, like, and this is tied in with kind of his definition of Christianity, which is like, what if we bore our cross and we aimed high and we walked up, this is what you were talking about in your video the other day, Paul, about him saying, like, we're going to go up to the city of God. And if everyone took maximum responsibility, and it's this, this sort of semi-stoic stance towards what Christianity is. But, and I'm gonna kind of just like beat on my drum here. Like, I think no one's sort of dealing with something that's in the book of Job, which then just goes right into the story of Christ for me, which is, so one of the things that's set up in the narrative at the beginning of the book of Job is that Job was doing this. Job was aiming high. Job was bringing the proper sacrifices.
Yep.
Job was doing everything correctly.
Yep.
And what has he chosen to do? He's chosen to suffer for something else, for a larger purpose.
Vicariously, in some ways.
In some ways, possibly. But then you even get this in...
come on, Yosef. He's an example. Have you considered my servant Job? Job is an object lesson for the righteous of the world. Anyway, I'm sorry.
For me, he's more than an object lesson. I think he brings about an actual transformation in the world. And so this is what I will. This type moves into Christ. Christ is aiming high, and what has he chosen to do? He's chosen to suffer in order to bring about the new creation. And so this whole move, and this is my criticism of Vervaeke too, because he's like, I'm going to develop these practices so we have wisdom. And what's the evidence of wisdom? And wisdom should have these sort of external criteria in order that we can kind of determine what's wisdom and what's foolishness. And I'm just like, that falls apart in the book of Job. All that falls apart. And I'm not saying it's bad or anything. It's just that it doesn't include like this bigger picture. And so, that's about all I have to say.
This is the sound doctrine point of Alex's, right? My point to him. Like, where is the sound doctrine in Job? I mean, the whole point of the book is to destroy sound doctrine.
I have a quick question. I mean, a quick answer for that.
Make it quick, Alex.
5 seconds. The minute God says, "Have you considered my servant?" He already called him a servant. He wasn't his enemy. He wasn't his. So, right there, bang.
Strong point.
Satan
is also not his enemy in that book. It's very important.
Another strong point.
So there we go. That's the mystery, I guess. But and this is where Christ makes a difference, because then he says you cannot serve two masters. So then there's the question. Okay, what are these two masters?
Well, that's a whole discussion, because in rabbinic thought, there's an entire tractate that's on having two masters.
Peterson or Alex O'Connor, or should it be another discussion somewhere else, Joseph?
I'll just point out Jesus is called a servant of God multiple times.
He is indeed. He is indeed. All right, Jess, you get the last word on, unless somebody else wants in on Jess's point.
Well, I just want to, like, if Peterson's serious about the Christian message, I think, and even the message coming out of Judaism is that God can choose to, I'll just sort of say it messily, because God will choose you to suffer if you're righteous. And if you're good, and a lot of times his object lessons about like what's the proof of Christianity is this external prosperity of some kind, psychological strength, right, or strength in being able to hold things together in your community. These different things that Peterson, which is all true, like I'm not denying it, but it just doesn't include this other aspect of when things fall apart, how do they fall apart, and what is God doing through that situation? And that makes it personal all of a sudden, because then you have to trust God and not trust in the principles of wisdom or aiming high or whatever that is,
or what you're getting in response. This I'll let you in a second, Chad. But one of the things that you see in the book of Job is there's another system that comes online in the book of Job, and I would say then gets perfected and really pointed to in Christ, because Christ is sort of the second Job, in that he is the perfect man who suffers unjustly and is vindicated in the end. But the one system, the old system of let's say common religion, is do good things will happen. It's sort of karmic. And then in the book of Job, let's say in the Gospel of Job, in some ways, this other system begins to come online that says the appearance of productivity and flourishing is not all there is. And then Jesus, of course, being crucified, hung on a tree, is he cursed? And this reverberates then through Islam. So no, you're exactly right, Jess. And Peterson and Vervaeke are both sort of dealing with, okay, well, we're getting immediate reaction. That's sort of a scientific frame. Go ahead, Chad. You wanted to say something? Oh, you want me to unmute you?
No, I got it. Thanks. No, and so this I'm glad you brought this up, Joe, Jess, sorry. I was thinking about Peterson. When is he gonna start talking mercy? This is a big topic for my understanding of something that's completely left off the table in some sense. In Peterson's whole spiel, mercy, as far as I can tell, has never been brought up as even a point. He always talks about suffering, but he doesn't talk about mercy. So I don't know. I think it's related in some way to Jess.
And that's part of what we're getting at now. I'm